Hello and welcome back to Steve's Backyard Bonsai. The first video came out last night and there were some really good guesses. There was one in particular that was very good. And I'm working on the third video, which should really clinch what I'm working on. All right, here we go. All right, if you remember, there were two of these. I already worked out how to do this with the first one so I wouldn't embarrass myself. So I'm using a wire cutter to just break the top. I was unable to just peel it down like I thought I would, but I can cut it pretty far down and then peel the rest of it. Takes a little while, but I got nothing else to do. It's not dinner time yet. Okay, they're all cut, but the plastic is too hard to just rip. So, with my trusty old Chinese shears that I got on Broadway and Canal Street, I'm able to cut down to the cement, which is hardened nicely. I hope I'm staying in view. This one's hard. Okay. The plastic seems to be a bit thinner down here. I'm able to rip it. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find a good place for you to see this. It comes off very easily, and because this is a plastic cup, it's leaving a nice shiny surface. I'm going to have to waterproof these somehow after I stick them down and I'm satisfied that they're sticking down well. I'm going to have to waterproof them somehow. Haven't figured that out yet. I have some waterproofing that I used when I was building a shower in my house, you know, to waterproof the wall underneath. Hoping that was enough to weaken, yeah? No. And it broke it. But here we go. It's coming. Just go slowly, using leverage and not too much strength. It's coming. All right, well, that's that. Now remember, I glued that dowel down, so there's going to be, yeah, it's stuck down pretty well. All right, so what I did to the other one, I'll show you. I sanded the top to get rid of the meniscus, you know, the part that kind of goes up the side of the cup. All right, I don't want this to collect water. It's going to be pretty close to the surface. That might be a mistake. And I radiused the back end so it'll fit it right up to the wall of the pot, or close to it. I'm still going to have to put something to fill the gap in here, and I'm probably going to use JB Weld epoxy. I'll use that to set this down too. I was thinking of putting it down with something more rubbery, but the problem with something more rubbery is it might peel off. Is that better than something hard that'll just break off? And I'm still not going to tell you what it is, but let me do something now that might reveal what it is. Okay, so this is the unfinished one. Well, they're both unfinished, but I roughed up this pole and rounded the ends a bit. I'll get the positioning just right when I glue this in place. And this one I still have to round this end and flatten it out. And then I think I'm going to glue them in place and then waterproof this. I think a mistake that I made, I alluded to it moments ago. I really wanted these to be heavy, you know, so that's as much as I could have put in there. But it comes pretty close to the edge of the pot. And I'm just wondering what that's going to do. Well, it may be okay. It may be okay. I don't know. But I probably should have made it lower. They're both the same. I'm just going to make some screens. Cut some screens for the bottom of that. I think I'll glue them in place. And I'm going to get working on finishing off the other one. I'll show it to you when I'm done. Okay, we're going to let that dry overnight and come back maybe to some more good guesses. So here it is one more time. What could it be? And what plant or plants do I have that you've seen that would go in this? All right, we'll come back tomorrow when it's all dry. The last thing I'm going to do is to try and fill that space. You can see it in the back, just like fillet it in with a nice epoxy. The side's a little bit more. for some reason. I don't know, but that should hold very tight. And I'll take those little rocks off, and hopefully we'll get enough drainage in here with just those perimeter holes. I'm tempted to put one in the middle, but I don't really want to. I think it'll drain nicely. Oh, and I gotta put screens on those two holes yet because I didn't really know where things would end up. Hi, it's the next day now, and some of you have reached out and guessed what you think this might be. There were a lot of votes for a bridge. It is not a bridge. There was one vote for a trellis. I asked that person to be a little bit more specific. They mentioned possibly a wisteria trellis. And I said, no, it's not wisteria. So her next guess was correct. It was a grapevine trellis. And I'll show you some pictures in case you don't know what I'm talking about. A couple of things I've noticed about my grapevine trellis is that they do flex a little. This is a plastic pot, and I'm not sure how much flex is in the rubbery cement that I used. I don't think much. And how much flex is in the pot. So when I string these together, which you probably saw from the slideshow, it's going to want to pull into the center. So I don't want it to further pull into the center with weight on it. So I will probably put a weight in it when I'm stringing it. This way it will tighten, if that makes any sense. And I'll walk you through it. I still have 2 bits of screen to put in. And today I want to JB weld as close to the pot as possible to really add some strength to these with the pull in that direction. I don't want there to be any flex at all. I certainly don't want the flex to be, pulling away at the back, which it would be. So I'm going to try and get some JB weld in as close as I can to the bottom to try and hold it more to the sides. Give it a little bit more stability. All right, watch me. Maybe I should go in fast motion. This could be a little boring. All right, so thanks to my really bad camera ability. You missed all of that placement of the JB weld. Take my word for it. I stuffed as much in there as I could. Nothing will show over the surface. And I want to apply a waterproofing material to here and a little bit of the dowel as it exits the cement. What I have is some very old, it's been in my basement. This is what I had left over from a shower job I did. And it looks like the day I put it in here, or the last day I closed it. So I am going to as carefully as I can, brush this on. If memory serves, it turns green when it's cured. I may have to do a couple of coats of this. It worked great in the shower. This is going to be laborious, so I will go into time lapse. All right, so I got these all waterproofed. I may, look for spots and touch it up. I'm certainly not going to be putting soil in this for a little while. This is the tree. This is the vine that I have in mind for this. It's just a wild grapevine that is grown in my backyard. The leaves are really cool sometimes. That's a really cool one. And they can be pretty small. So also a cool thing. I think I have a reasonably good chance of being able to keep this vine miniature. And frankly, this one has some potential on its own. I have another one that just kind of popped up in my front yard that's a little less mature but more straight, which might lend itself to coming up on one of the wires here, and then be trapped inside the wires and grow up nicely and maybe just self-support after a while. This one I'm not sure I can retrain it or even want to retrain it. I like the way it's growing right now like it is. I'm going to think about that. I'm going to interrupt this full planting until the spring because I do not want to take this out of the pot. And the other tree that I speak of is growing in my front garden, so I have to dig it out. And I'd like it to winter in a pot before I mess with the roots at all. All right, so that's my plan. I will string this over the next week or so and put out a video. I want to thank Susan, the winner of the guessing game that I had, who indicated after a couple of tries that this would be a grapevine or a grape trellis. And that is indeed what I had in mind. So I hope you enjoyed the slideshow. And thank you for keeping me company in my backyard.